So I think I'm crooked, but I don't really care because thanks for being in my way, boo. I have, no, don't knock it over. Oh my god. This is so disaster. I have my tiny little, god damn it, tripod for my phone, which is what I use for all my videos, and I have it stacked on cake mix boxes. Say hi. Oh, my baby boo boo. He's like, what the fuck? So anyways, I'm a little ghetto. No, no, boo, stop it. It's like having a toddler sometimes. Okay. So I look, stop. I look pretty gross, as I do in most of my videos, because I get, I don't know, I just get like late night inspirations for videos. So, I mean, I look gross when I'm, boo, when I'm sleeping, so sorry about you. Maybe one of these days I'll look better, but, so I was just, don't, boo, please, boo. I love you, but stop. I was watching a documentary on anorexia just a little bit ago. I think probably just because I've been following the whole Eugenia Cooney story. She's like a semi-famous YouTuber, and she has anorexia, and she's like in full-fledged denial and blah blah blah. Can you stop destroying my entire house, please, cat? Anyways. Stop it. And so I think the documentary just like popped up as to like, you know, what to watch next or whatever. So that's, and then I started watching it, and boo, I swear to and I was just kind of thinking of me and my story. Not that I had anorexia, but I'm obviously going to explain all that. And how I could have easily, you know, been one of those people. I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So, recently I posted a video about Mental Health Illness Day, talking about my anxiety and depression, and the depression stemmed from a myriad of different things, but one of the big issues I had growing up was being bullied, and that really contributed to my depression and probably my anxiety, just because I have anxiety about little things now that kind of makes sense with what I was, you know, made fun of for. So I'm just gonna focus on the bullying and being overweight and all that kind of stuff for this video, because I mean there's tons of other personal things that add up to the depression, but I'm just focusing on being overweight, bullying, that kind of thing. So my entire family, pretty much everyone has struggled with their weight. That's just how it was. I mean, my grandma and grandpa were, I mean, a little bit chubby, nothing too extreme, whenever they had my mom and my uncle. And my grandpa has always been obsessed with fitness. He used to be in the Marines, and I don't know, I think he has like a black belt or something. He sounds really cool, but he's a little cuckoo now. Anyways, he's literally been obsessed with fitness and weight like his entire life, and my mom and uncle's entire life, and me and my sister's lives. Like he's still keeping up with it. He's still obsessed with it. My grandma had health issues, so she was pretty skinny for when I was alive and when I was growing up. My mom and uncle had weight issues. My uncle was I don't know, maybe 300 pounds or more at one point in his life for a couple years, but he has lost a lot of weight since then. And my mom grew up, I mean, she was like pretty regular size, but then once she had kids, she put on a little bit of weight, which is typical. So I mean, you know, but she's told me that she, you know, she's always struggled with her weight and whatnot. And she went through this whole like health thing where she herself lost a lot of weight, and she's kept it off. So my sister was always like the one skinny person in our family. Like she was always really tiny. Like she was wearing like, that's probably not accurate, but I feel like she was wearing like size 2 or size 4 like jeans and when she was in high school and stuff, which to me was like, what? Because I don't even think I was a size 2 when I was like a kid. Like it was just like, what the hell. I mean, she struggled with her weight in college a little bit, freshman 15, whatever, but she's always been pretty consistently skinny, and she's pretty, I mean, she's pretty tiny now. So I know she does have her own issues with her body image and all that kind of thing. But for me, I was pretty much, I just was popped out, and it's like day one, chubby ass baby. I'm just kidding. I was actually a pretty, I mean, slim, regular sized baby. Regular sized toddler. But when I was like school age, something just happened and I just got chunky. Like I was really chubby. There's just, I don't know, there's just something with my body. Like I was so ahead of everyone else in development. So like I literally went through puberty 4th grade when I was like 10. I had my first period when I was in 4th grade. I had boobs by then. I was almost the same height that I am now in 4th grade. Like it was just all throughout grade school. I was just ahead, and it was really awkward, and I don't know, that's just, I guess that's maybe why I was heavier than everyone else, because I was just like, my body was like, woo, full speed ahead, bitch, even if you don't like it. So yeah. I went to a really small Catholic grade school, so the bullying, like kindergarten through, I'll say 4th grade, wasn't bad. I mean, pretty much everyone was like, you need to be nice to poor little fat girl, basically. Things really started to get bad like 5th grade. Which I didn't really understand, because if I look back now, when I was in 5th grade, I pretty much had the body that I should have like now as an adult, which is kind of weird to think about, but I was the weight that I probably should be right now, pretty much the same height, that kind of thing. So there's just people in upper grades that would like torment me like all the time, and like call me fat, and like if I was walking down the hall, I'd be like, oh my god, there's an earthquake. When I went to the pool during the summer and I jumped in, people would be like, oh my god, there's a tsunami happening. Oh my god, there's a whale in the pool. Like, okay. And usually it was by the same people. Like, how many times do you need to tell me I'm fat? Okay, like I have ears, they are working, and I can hear you. How many times do you need to say it until you feel like fulfilled with yourself? I just didn't get it. Whatever. So that was just, you know, a regular kind of thing. I did like stand up for myself 5th or 6th grade, and I finally told a teacher about it, and so all that shit went down, and the bullying subsided for a little bit. But um, things got really weird in 8th grade because that's when I went to the gyno for the first time. I hadn't had my period in like 6 months, so my mom took me to the gynecologist. We had blood tests done, you know, I was checked out, you know, all that kind of thing. And a few weeks later, I found out that I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, this disease manifests itself in very, 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 very many different ways for different women. So, generally, women who have it are supposed to have cystic ovaries. I'm not entirely sure what exactly that entails because I've never had cysts on my ovaries. So I have PCOS, but I've never even had cystic ovaries. I think you just like have bleeding, and I'm not really sure. I'm just, yeah. So usually that's number one. It's boo again, sorry. Weight gain, especially concentrated in the boobs and stomach area, which if you know me in real life, you know that is where like pretty much all my fat is. So I was like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. People, there's like a higher levels of testosterone, which makes sense to me because I feel like I'm a little more manly than my girlfriends. Just my mannerisms, some ways I think. I mean, which you can, you know, obviously say, oh, that's, you know, socially contrived, blah, 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 but it's hard to explain. Like, I don't know, I've always just felt a little bit more masculine. And so that was kind of a relief to be like, okay, well, that makes sense also. A lot of the times, because of the higher testosterone, women have a lot of body hair, which I haven't really dealt with that either. They can have like literal beards and stuff, which thank God I haven't had to deal with that. What else? Just, it's really hard for people with PCOS to lose weight. So it's just kind of like making you fat and then making it like impossible to not be fat. So it just kind of sucks. I mean, that's obviously not the case. Like, some people with PCOS are like really stick thin, but it just varies with everybody. But after that, I was like put on a diet to lose weight because I hadn't had my period in 6 months, and that's kind of like a big warning sign, like, you know, something's wrong, we need to get this under control. And so I was put on a diet. It was just really awkward and hard for me because it was like I was in 8th grade. It was already hard enough because I almost had no friends because everyone decided to turn on me that year for some reason. So life was pretty much hell at school and afterwards because everyone had cell phones by then, and they, you know, cyber bullying and that kind of stuff started. So I was dealing with that, but I was also dealing with my weight, which I was really heavy at that point. I mean, I obviously always struggled with it, but it was like probably the heaviest I had been, so it was really tough to deal with that and deal with everyone bullying me and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And one of the most embarrassing things to me was like, we had, since it was a Catholic grade school, we had uniforms we had to wear, and it was hell trying to find uniforms that would fit me. Absolute hell every year. So I started this diet plan, and I was just eating overall healthier, and I lost a bunch of weight in 8th grade. I want to say like 30 pounds that year, which was also just kind of embarrassing as well, because it's like people starting to notice and comment on it. Like teachers were commenting on it, which just was like singling me out even more already than I was. And like before 8th grade, I had a PE teacher that was literally so awful to me, and she would make comments about my weight all the time, like, oh, you're really big compared to the, a classmate. Oh, do you even want to try doing this sit-ups, because we know you can't do them. There was like, we were doing the presidential fitness test or whatever, and she was like, okay, it's your turn, but do you want to bother, because we know you're not gonna do anyways. Like shit like that all the time. Like it doesn't, like, I was getting bullied by peers, but getting bullied and belittled by adults is almost like 10 times worse. It was awful. So here I was, losing a little bit of weight, wow, pretty much friendless, going through a hard year just because it's 8th grade, and I was at a Catholic grade school, and I had no idea what was, like, the real world was really like, you know what I mean? Like, we were just, like, these little sheltered, small classes, and I was making the transition to high school, so, I mean, all that was just too much. Then, as if it couldn't get worse, it got so much freaking worse. I kind of became obsessed with working out freshman, sophomore year of high school, because there was 4 times the amount of people that I was going to school with who had their chances to make fun of me. So I would get literally harassed and tormented about being fat every single day of high school, freshman, sophomore year. I even was once in a health class giving a presentation. I was standing up at the board about to start, and these 2 little assholes who pretty much made my life a living hell were in that class too. And they literally were like pretty much yelling at me from literally, I want to say like 5 feet away. You're so fat. Like, sit down. We can't even see the board. You're so fat. Everyone in the class could hear, including the teacher. I looked at the teacher and I was just like, are you gonna say anything? And she literally just sat there. She heard them. There's no way she didn't hear them. So again, peers were tormenting me constantly, but also teachers were not helping at all. They were pretty much either a part of the problem or exemplifying the problem. But what really irritates me the most is that freshman, sophomore year of high school was the skinniest I had ever been in my life. For me, that was skinny. And when I edit this, I'm going to put in some pictures of me freshman, sophomore year of high school. It may not be skinny to other people, but I was pretty skinny for me. Like, that's the skinniest I've ever been. And still, after working so hard to lose the weight for years now, like 1, 2, 3 years, and feeling good about myself, and actually feeling that I'm actually skinny now, or thinner than I was, still being called fat and getting harassed every single day, was like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Do you really want me to become anorexic and not eat and be a skeleton just so you will have nothing more to say to me? I was just like, what do you possibly want from me? Like, I hear you. I hear you calling me fat every single day. And just because you say it again the next day doesn't mean anything's gonna fucking change. So the first 2 years of high school were absolutely horrendous and awful, and I was being tormented literally every day. Mostly about my weight, but most, other things cropped up too, because kids cannot just be nice. So anyways, I was pretty much obsessed with working out. I was going to the gym literally 5 or 6 days a week. I would work out for at least 2 hours every single one of those days. I would do, depending on, what day, I would do either 10 to 15 to 20 minutes on every single machine at the gym. So there was like an elliptical, there was a stair stepper, there was a treadmill, there was a bike, there was one of those glidey things. There was like at least 6 or 7 different machines there that I would do at least 10 minutes on. So that's already, 70 minutes of doing cardio. And then I would do at least like 50 minutes to an hour of lifting weights and weight training and abs and all that kind of stuff. So I was literally working out for usually 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, just to maintain me being my version of skinny. And I hit a point where I literally could not make my body look any better. I couldn't get skinnier. That was just the main point of that was just where it stopped. I don't know. I continued, my junior, senior year of high school. I still worked out, but not as intensely, because I was like, well, fuck it. If working out like a crazy person almost every single day of the week isn't getting me like a stick thin body, then what the hell is the point? So, I still worked out and I was still really healthy, but I wasn't trying nearly as hard, which to me, like looking back on it, I'm just like, that could have gone really bad. Like that could have turned into anorexia easily, or bulimia or something, because I was already being obsessed with working out, which is a big problem for people with anorexia and bulimia. And I was also just like so obsessed with being thin. Like that's like all I thought about, because that's what everyone told me like I needed to focus on, including my family. And I don't know. I'm just really glad it didn't have to come to that point. But also, moving on, my freshman, sophomore year of college, I got really into working out a lot again. Like I literally went every single day pretty much. I focused on going to the gym more than I did like studying or doing my homework, which but at the same time, those 2 years were I don't know, probably 2 of the worst years in terms of my depression. My depression was awful those 2 years, which eventually led me to being like, okay, this is enough. I have a problem, and going to get help for that. But I kind of used working out as an outlet and something to do instead of thinking, inner turmoil that was going on up here. So I was pretty fit then. After I got help for my depression and anxiety, I think it was like sophomore year of college. And then I moved to a different college junior and senior year. Fitness just kind of took the back road to my life. I still worked out junior year and the beginning of senior year. I still worked out. It just wasn't as much. It wasn't as intense, that kind of thing. It was more of just being healthy. This past year, I have gained a lot of weight. Well, I don't know about a lot, but I've gained some weight. I found out that I had an umbilical hernia. Let's see. I think like October, so like a year ago. I learned that I had an umbilical hernia. So my stomach hurt so much all the time, which really made me not want to go work out, because who wants to go, work out when they're feeling like crap all the time? Boo, please stop. Stop. So I got that figured out, and then I had to wait until January to get surgery on it, because it's an elective surgery apparently, which, excuse me, but no it ain't. It hurts like a bitch every day. It's not whatever. So then I kind of just didn't work out for a couple months because it just hurt so bad, and I don't know, I felt like I was gonna, mess it up even more, and now I was like really paranoid. So January rolls around, I have the surgery. I don't work out for another few months because I'm healing, and again, I don't want to fuck it up again, because I don't want to have to do surgery again, because that was pretty awful. But and just like the last the last semester of my senior year of undergrad was pretty fucking awful. The surgery, I was living with some fucking awful people. I don't even want to think about it. I was taking 7 classes, which was like so fucking crazy. I hated my job. I was struggling to make ends meet. I had to not only keep up with my classes and homework, but I had to start doing applications for grad school and paying for all that shit, taking the GRE. Like, there's so much shit that was piling up on me. I didn't even barely have time to fucking shower, let alone go to the gym. So I was just kind of like, whatever. I have other things I have to deal with. Then this summer, I was supposed to go to Sri Lanka to volunteer. I was supposed to be there for like a month. No, 5 weeks. And I ended up not going because I applied for my visa as soon as I got the paperwork that I had to send to get the visa. And the agency, I forgot what they're called, the embassy that I had to send it to, never called me and told me that they couldn't accept my check. I had given them a personal check. No one from the group that I was volunteering from or the embassy ever told me that I couldn't send a personal check. So, and the embassy claimed that I didn't put my phone number on my application for the visa, which is bullshit. I put it at least 3 times. So when I called, it was a couple days, it was like maybe 5 days before I had to leave, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I know it takes at least 10 days to get the visa, but like, what's going on? So I called them, told me that, and I was like, well, there's like no way even if I overnight the check, that you're gonna get the visa to me by the time I have to leave. So I just couldn't go. It was really fucked up, and I'm just really upset about it. Like, I submitted the forms and stuff I needed to the group that I was volunteering with back in like February, March, and they didn't give me the stuff that I needed until like literally 2 weeks before I had to leave the country. And so in between then, I had to get my stuff to the embassy and get my visa back. It was just all like really fucked up, whatever. So I was really depressed about that, and this summer I gained a little bit of weight. I wasn't working out because I didn't even have a gym membership anywhere because I was back home with my mom. I was just really sad, and I just didn't want to. Lately, I have been working out though. I got a membership to a gym here, and I've been working out whenever I can. But at the same time, I just have kind of come to realize and accept that I'm not going to like literally ever be a thin person. It's never going to happen unless I got like $200,000 worth of surgery where they literally just took all my fat off my body. I have a disease that keeps me from losing weight, and through the years it's been pretty much proven to me that it doesn't really matter how much effort I put into it, because there's this wall that I always hit and I can't go beyond that. And really, I mean, I've really accepted it. Like, I actually don't even hate my body that much anymore. I used to always hate it and just hate who I was because everyone else hated me for it. But now that I'm a grown adult, I'm like, who cares? I am more than just the shape of my body, a shape that is literally almost impossible to control. I am a good person, and I have more to bring to the world than my body. And I'm just never going to be a thin person, and I have to get over it, and everyone else has to too, because I still get comments. I mean, I still get comments from my grandpa to this day, like, oh, you really need to start losing weight, you need to start walking, you need to do this, you need to do that. Last time I was actually with him, sorry, I'm turning up a little bit. The last time I was actually like hanging out with him, we took my 2 area rugs that I have to the car wash to wash them. I know that sounds weird, but I am not paying $70 to take those rugs to a professional when you can just wash them at the car wash. Thank me later. Anyways, so it was really hot outside. I was scrubbing so hard, you know, I was like washing these things for at least half an hour. And then once we were done, he drove to Dairy Queen because he wanted ice cream. And he asked me if I wanted ice cream, and I was like, well, no, I don't. Because I was trying to be healthier, and I was trying to lose a little bit of weight because I had gained a little bit of weight over the summer. And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So then once we were on the way home, he was started talking about how fat I was and how I need to lose weight and how I should start walking every day and that'll help me lose weight and, you know, all this shit. After I had just said I don't want an ice cream cone because it's unhealthy. So I kind of snapped and I was like, I don't need your judgment. I don't need you to tell me any of this shit. I didn't ask for your opinion, and I don't need you to be critiquing my body every fucking time you see me, which he always does. And I just kind of went off on him, and I was like, you don't even apparently understand that I am, no, well, it was summer at the time, but I was like, I'm usually always in school. I'm always taking many classes. I always have a freaking crazy job. I'm always working because I need to support myself. I have so much homework to do. I have so many things I have to do for, you know, getting ready for grad school. I have so much shit to do that, yeah, sometimes working out isn't my first priority because shit in life happens. So I kind of went off on him because I was just so sick of it. Like, I had been hearing shit from him for my entire life, even as a little kid, like calling me fat and saying to me that I couldn't do things that I wanted to do because I was fat, even though it's not my fucking fault. Okay? I'm sorry, I need to calm down. I'm just saying, if our entire family has weight problems, I have a disease that makes it easy to gain weight and hard to lose it, and I tried for years to be as thin as I possibly can, then how in earth is it my problem anymore? You know what I'm saying? I have genes fighting against me. I have a disease fighting against me. I have real life issues fighting against me. Okay? I've tried. And I'm not gonna try as hard anymore because I love myself. I don't care if someone thinks I'm gross because I'm fat to them. I just don't care anymore. There comes a point in your life where after like 15 years of being ridiculed and talked shit at and tormented every day, you just don't care anymore. I don't care what anyone thinks of me or my body. And as long as I'm eating healthy and working out and I know that I'm being healthy, then I'm fine with whatever, because it's just life. It's just a body. It's just me. And no one has to deal with my body. I'm the only person who does. So, whatever. At this point, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't really care if people think I'm fat. I don't really care if they say it to me. It's like, okay, whatever. What else is new? But it took so long and so much work to get to this point that I don't want people to ruin it for me, I'm just always afraid that I'm like on the edge of going back to the way that I was, obsessed, not thinking about anything else, not doing anything else important. Because really, what kind of life is that to live? I'm sorry. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there because it's so difficult for anyone that is deemed overweight to just exist in this world. People think so less of you and consider you sometimes, like gross or unresponsible or like not real, like not dedicated or like any of these things because you don't take care of your body, blah blah blah. But what people really need to realize is that every single body does not have a starting point that is exactly the same. We do not all start out as a thin, perfect bodied person and just explode and become heavy because we're being lazy or whatever. We are all born with different bodies, different body sets, different places where we store fat. Bodies are not one. It's not like a one size fits all shirt where it's really thin and then if you make bad decisions, it'll stretch out and be bigger. It's not how bodies work. And I'm just sick of people thinking like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm also sick of people thinking that people with larger bodies are just choosing to be like that as well. Like, yes, maybe if that person eats McDonald's every single meal every single day for the past 20 years, yeah, maybe you could say that they're choosing that. But a lot of people aren't choosing it, and they have tried so hard to be this perfect thin person that society wants them to be, and they can't. So just get over it and keep your comments to yourself. End rant. So, wow, this is a really long video, but you know what? I just had to get this off my chest. Because I want people to feel okay with themselves. I want them to feel like they're valuable, and it doesn't matter what size they are and what other people say about them. Because as long as you're okay with yourself, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So yeah, I guess that's one aspect of me developing my depression, anxiety, and also just a little bit about myself, because it's been a rough ride, but still here. So I guess that's it. Until next time.